Welcome back to Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. Right now, an important bill in Congress that helps farmers grow crops and fund nutrition programs remains in limbo. We're talking about the Farm Bill. It was set to be renewed months ago, but lawmakers in Washington haven't been able to work on a new deal. 12 News Washington Bureau's Stetson Miller tells us where it stands right now and why it's so important.
The Farm Bill is a crucial piece of legislation that tries to make sure food remains affordable and accessible and also helps out farmers. It's supposed to be updated every 5 years, but that deadline passed months ago. Right now, it's unclear when this piece of legislation will get passed. Congress gave itself an extra year to pass a new farm bill back in September and voted to continue funding farming programs at 2018 levels. Today, it still remains in limbo, and some of the farming industry say a new bill needs to be passed quickly.
I know that we need to get through the budget process, but we also need to tell Congress and urge them to pass a new, modernized farm bill.
The bill is a major priority for ranking member of the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee, John Boozman, but he says that the government funding fights that have plagued Congress recently haven't made getting a new one passed easy.
That's really kind of taken all of the effort by so many members. And as a result, it's kind of pushed everything else to the side for a little bit.
And the senator says he wants to get it right because it's a major piece of legislation that provides farmers with funding and insurance and also pays for nutrition programs like the SNAP program. And that's why he's traveled to nearly 20 states to talk to farmers about what a modernized farm bill should look like. And he's heard from many of them about the major challenges facing farmers now.
It doesn't matter where farmers are at, they're all the same. They're really concerned about the risk management tools. They're concerned about trade. Trade is the lifeblood of agriculture.
He does say that the goal is to get the bill passed in the coming months and notes there is a lot of bipartisan support for the bill.
Most people want to get a farm bill done. They realize how important it is. Most of our states, it's the #1 economic driver of the state.
In Washington, I'm Stetson Miller.
Thanks so much for joining us here on Eye on Agriculture. For more ag news, you can head over to our KWCH 12 News app and click on the Eye on Agriculture section. Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll see you here next week.